First off, I just wanted to ask if you guys could describe Birdeater to our audiences in your own words.
So Birdeater is a thriller. It's a psychological thriller about a young man, Louis, who invites his own fiancée, Irene, to his bucks party on an isolated property in the Australian outback. Some details come out about their relationship during the weekend, and then the night takes a pretty kind of awful feral turn.
I wanted to ask a little bit about some of your cinematic references for Birdeater. I've seen you guys talk a bit about Wake and Fright, and I'd love to hear how that film influenced you and any others that you were drawing on.
Yeah, Wake and Fright was a big influence to us, but I think more on an unconscious level. It's something that we realized later in the process had been a big influence. It actually wasn't brought up at all in pre-production, not until really we were on set and me and Jim were talking about it. And it became clear how much of an influence that had on us during film school. But other more conscious influences are films like Festen, the Danish film, which is, about a similar setting, a party in a rural area where uncomfortable details are brought out. And it's sort of something that pivots constantly between drama and comedy. And we're really excited by that kind of dynamic energy that bounces between two sides. So that was a big influence to us. Visually, we were very interested in Robert Altman films and the way they deal with ensembles. Obviously, we dealt with much larger ensembles than us, but like long zoom lenses, and also the way that they treated sound design there with overlapping audio. Those are a couple of films, yeah.
Now, you two met at film school. Am I right in thinking that's also where you met some of your other collaborators?
Yeah, pretty much our entire crew are from Afters, which is a film school in Sydney. So me and Jack met there. We worked on each other's projects all through film school, and then once we graduated, we started a production company and kind of stumbled into co-directing our first feature together. But pretty much all of our heads of department were either people we went to school with or people who went to the same school, but just like a year before, or a year later. So pretty much everyone kind of knew each other. So it was a real kind of familial vibe on set. And then it was also a happy accident, but pretty much all of our actors were from the same film school in Queensland. We didn't do it on purpose, but pretty much 5 out of the 7 of the ensemble went to QUT in Brisbane. So yeah, we had a set where everyone kind of already knew each other by the time we started shooting, which was really helpful.
What was the kind of vibe on the set of Birdeater?
Everyone was keeping it together. It was a very tough shoot. So I mean, it seems like the story behind every indie film feels like they had the toughest shoot out of everybody. But it's not a competition. But no, we did have a tough time. We ran out of money after a big kind of weather incident really waylaid us and flooded our set. We had to sort of go back and refinance the film. So really, it was a shoot that was cut in half. So a big part of our job ended up being just kind of keeping the energy up, keeping everybody's sort of morale high. And in doing so, the hope would be that the crew would sort of sustain themselves creatively and get excited to stay with the project, because it certainly wasn't the amount of money they were getting paid, and it wasn't because it was easy. It's because they wanted to be there. And to their credit, they sort of took our project and sort of ran with us further than we could have done. So all of our crew sort of gathered around us and supported us, same with the cast, and became a real kind of tight-knit community.
I think Birdeater is really going to be quite relatable for New Zealand audiences too. Obviously, it's so steeped in Australian culture, but there's such an overlap there.
I hope it resonates with Kiwi audiences because we have some similar senses of humor. I think that's something that we're using a lot is the way that humor is a defense mechanism for Australian men, and rather than talk about uncomfortable things, or if a scene will continue to an uncomfortable point, laughter is the way to escape from that. So we'd sort of make it a challenge for our characters to try and find this scene funny, because that's the way that you're going to get out of this, or try and make us laugh because that's the way that we're going to feel more uncomfortable, or we're going to see an escape route. So I think it was the way that that sort of combines with mateship, which is also this kind of exclusionary, very male sense of camaraderie, and that big sort of mixture. So I think there will be some things for sure to relate to with the humor in particular, because we think it's quite a funny movie once you get it into a big audience as well.
Really, really excited to have it in the program here, and thank you so much.